of African smallholder farmers lack access to financial services, limiting their ability to invest in their farms. Fintech has the potential to increase agricultural productivity by 20% and reduce post-harvest losses by 15%. In 2021, African startups raised over $2.4 billion in funding, with a significant portion allocated to fintech and agri-tech sectors. Fintech platforms are playing a crucial role in providing access to finance for smallholder farmers. The 3i Africa Summit is a platform for farmers, fintech companies, and policymakers to come together and shape the future of agriculture in Africa. Join us to learn more about the impact of fintech on agriculture and how you can be a part of this movement. Fintech is transforming the agricultural sector in Africa, providing farmers with valuable insights and tools to improve their productivity and profitability. Globally, investment in agri-tech and fintech solutions for agriculture has been increasing. The 3i Africa Summit is a key player in this timely movement, bringing together industry leaders and innovators to shape the future of food security in Africa. According to the International Fund for Agricultural Development, 60% of African smallholder farmers lack access to financial services, limiting their ability to invest in their farms. Fintech has the potential to increase agricultural productivity by 20% and reduce post-harvest losses by 15%. In 2021, African startups raised over $2.4 billion in funding, with a significant portion allocated to fintech and agri-tech sectors. Fintech platforms are playing a crucial role in providing access to finance for smallholder farmers. The 3i Africa Summit is a platform for farmers, fintech companies, and policymakers to come together and shape the future of agriculture in Africa. Join us to learn more about the impact of fintech on agriculture and how you can be a part of this movement. Fintech is transforming the agricultural sector in Africa, providing farmers with valuable insights and tools to improve their productivity and profitability. Globally, investment in agri-tech and fintech solutions for agriculture has been increasing. The 3i Africa Summit is a key player in this timely movement, bringing together industry leaders and innovators to shape the future of food security in Africa. According to the International Fund for Agricultural Development, 60% of African smallholder farmers lack access to financial services, limiting their ability to invest in their farms. Fintech has the potential to increase agricultural productivity by 20% and reduce post-harvest losses by 15%. In 2021, African startups raised over $2.4 billion in funding, with a significant portion allocated to fintech and agri-tech sectors. Fintech platforms are playing a crucial role in providing access to finance for smallholder farmers. The 3i Africa Summit is a platform for farmers, fintech companies, and policymakers to come together and shape the future of agriculture in Africa. Join us to learn more about the impact of fintech on agriculture and how you can be a part of this movement. Fintech is transforming the agricultural sector in Africa, providing farmers with valuable insights and tools to improve their productivity and profitability. Globally, investment in agri-tech and fintech solutions for agriculture has been increasing. The 3i Africa Summit is a key player in this timely movement, bringing together industry leaders and innovators to shape the future of food security in Africa. According to the International Fund for Agricultural Development, 60% of African smallholder farmers lack access to financial services, limiting their ability to invest in their farms. Fintech has the potential to increase agricultural productivity by 20% and reduce post-harvest losses by 15%. In 2021, African startups raised over $2.4 billion in funding, with a significant portion allocated to fintech and agri-tech sectors. Fintech platforms are playing a crucial role in providing access to finance for smallholder farmers. The 3i Africa Summit is a platform for farmers, fintech companies, and policymakers to come together and shape the future of agriculture in Africa. Join us to learn more about the impact of fintech on agriculture and how you can be a part of this movement. Fintech is transforming the agricultural sector in Africa, providing farmers with valuable insights and tools to improve their productivity and profitability. Globally, investment in agri-tech and fintech solutions for agriculture has been increasing. The 3i Africa Summit is a key player in this timely movement, bringing together industry leaders and innovators to shape the future of food security in Africa. According to the International Fund for Agricultural Development, 60% of African smallholder farmers lack access to financial services, limiting their ability to invest in their farms. Fintech has the potential to increase agricultural productivity by 20% and reduce post-harvest losses by 15%. In 2021, African startups raised over $2.4 billion in funding, with a significant portion allocated to fintech and agri-tech sectors. Fintech platforms are playing a crucial role in providing access to finance for smallholder farmers. The 3i Africa Summit is a platform for farmers, fintech companies, and policymakers to come together and shape the future of agriculture in Africa. Join us to learn more about the impact of fintech on agriculture and how you can be a part of this movement. Fintech is transforming the agricultural sector in Africa, providing farmers with valuable insights and tools to improve their productivity and profitability. Globally, investment in agri-tech and fintech solutions for agriculture has been increasing. The 3i Africa Summit is a key player in this timely movement, bringing together industry leaders and innovators to shape the future of food security in Africa. According to the International Fund for Agricultural Development, 60% of African smallholder farmers lack access to financial services, limiting their ability to invest in their farms. Fintech has the potential to increase agricultural productivity by 20% and reduce post-harvest losses by 15%. In 2021, African startups raised over $2.4 billion in funding, with a significant portion allocated to fintech and agri-tech sectors. Fintech platforms are playing a crucial role in providing access to finance for smallholder farmers. The 3i Africa Summit is a platform for farmers, fintech companies, and policymakers to come together and shape the future of agriculture in Africa. Join us to learn more about the impact of fintech on agriculture and how you can be a part of this movement. Fintech is transforming the agricultural sector in Africa, providing farmers with valuable insights and tools to improve their productivity and profitability. Globally, investment in agri-tech and fintech solutions for agriculture has been increasing. The 3i Africa Summit is a key player in this timely movement, bringing together industry leaders and innovators to shape the future of food security in Africa. According to the International Fund for Agricultural Development, 60% of African smallholder farmers lack access to financial services, limiting their ability to invest in their farms. Fintech has the potential to increase agricultural productivity by 20% and reduce post-harvest losses by 15%. In 2021, African startups raised over $2.4 billion in funding, with a significant portion allocated to fintech and agri-tech sectors. Fintech platforms are playing a crucial role in providing access to finance for smallholder farmers. The 3i Africa Summit is a platform for farmers, fintech companies, and policymakers to come together and shape the future of agriculture in Africa. Join us to learn more about the impact of fintech on agriculture and how you can be a part of this movement. Fintech is transforming the agricultural sector in Africa, providing farmers with valuable insights and tools to improve their productivity and profitability. Globally, investment in agri-tech and fintech solutions for agriculture has been increasing. The 3i Africa Summit is a key player in this timely movement, bringing together industry leaders and innovators to shape the future of food security in Africa. According to the International Fund for Agricultural Development, 60% of African smallholder farmers lack access to financial services, limiting their ability to invest in their farms. Fintech has the potential to increase agricultural productivity by 20% and reduce post-harvest losses by 15%. In 2021, African startups raised over $2.4 billion in funding, with a significant portion allocated to fintech and agri-tech sectors. Fintech platforms are playing a crucial role in providing access to finance for smallholder farmers. The 3i Africa Summit is a platform for farmers, fintech companies, and policymakers to come together and shape the future of agriculture in Africa. Join us to learn more about the impact of fintech on agriculture and how you can be a part of this movement. Fintech is transforming the agricultural sector in Africa, providing farmers with valuable insights and tools to improve their productivity and profitability. Globally, investment in agri-tech and fintech solutions for agriculture has been increasing. The 3i Africa Summit is a key player in this timely movement, bringing together industry leaders and innovators to shape the future of food security in Africa. According to the International Fund for Agricultural Development, 60% of African smallholder farmers lack access to financial services, limiting their ability to invest in their farms. Fintech has the potential to increase agricultural productivity by 20% and reduce post-harvest losses by 15%. In 2021, African startups raised over $2.4 billion in funding, with a significant portion allocated to fintech and agri-tech sectors. Fintech platforms are playing a crucial role in providing access to finance for smallholder farmers. The 3i Africa Summit is a platform for farmers, fintech companies, and policymakers to come together and shape the future of agriculture in Africa. Join us to learn more about the impact of fintech on agriculture and how you can be a part of this movement. Fintech is transforming the agricultural sector in Africa, providing farmers with valuable insights and tools to improve their productivity and profitability. Globally, investment in
All is set for the arrival of the President of our Republic and the official party. Ladies and gentlemen, I ask that we all be seated. Thank you. Lodina the soprano. And now, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the President of our Republic. Make welcome the President of our Republic, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. We remain standing for the national salute. The national anthem.
God bless our homeland, Ghana, and make our nation great and strong, bold to defend forever the cause of freedom and of right. Fill our heart with true humility. Make us cherish fearless honesty and help us to resist oppressor's rule with all our will and might forevermore, and help us to resist oppressor's rule with all our will and might forevermore,
Lordina, the soprano. Please sit. And we ask of the same God who has held us for 67 years as a nation to be our portion through this event until its successful end. And all of God's children shall say a big amen. If your voice is yours, let me hear you shout innovation, investment, impact. And such is the language we're going to be speaking for the next 3 days as we deploy these three to unleash the digital and fintech potential of our great continent, Africa. Put your hands together as we welcome you to the 3I Africa Summit. It is exactly 9:24 in Singapore. It is 3:24 in Pretoria, SA, 4:34 in Cairo, Egypt. It is 5:34 in UAE. It is 10:24 in Tokyo, Japan. It is 1:24 in Dakar, Senegal, 3:24 in Paris, France. In St. George's, Grenada, it is 5:24 in Kigali, Rwanda, 3:24 in London, UK, it is 2:24. But right here in Accra, Ghana, at the center of the earth, it is Africa's time. It is time for us to unleash the power of our fintech and digital economic potential. My name is Jerry Ajololo. From the excitement in my voice, you can sense that I'm purely Ghanaian. And I welcome you to this land, greatly blessed of God in her rich endowment of our land and in her people, chief amongst whom is the President of our Republic, an enabler of transformative economies. Ladies and gentlemen, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo joins us this afternoon. He's joined by his brother who has come all the way from Grenada. Make welcome the Prime Minister of Grenada, His Excellency Dixon Amis Thomas Michel. We make welcome also, ladies and gentlemen, the Minister of Finance of the Republic of Ghana, the Honorable Dr. Mohammed Amin Adam, MP. We receive with great delight the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Grenada, the Honorable Peter David. The Governor of the Bank of Ghana joins us, Dr. Ernest Addison. It will be remiss of me not to acknowledge Ghana's Minister for Communication and Digitalization, the Honorable Esla Owusu-Ekufo. I proceed to acknowledge with us a former Managing Director of the Monetary Authority of Singapore and now Singapore's first Ambassador for Climate Change Action and Senior Advisor to the National Climate Change Secretariat, Mr. Ravi Menon. Make welcome, ladies and gentlemen, the Chief Fintech Officer of Elevandi, Mr. Sopnendu Mohanty. Monetary Authority of Singapore, I beg your pardon. The CEO of the GIPC, Ghana Investment Promotion Center, Mr. Yofi Grant, also joins us. The Board Chair of the Development Bank Ghana, Dr. Yao Ansu, also joins us. The CEO of the Development Bank Ghana, Mr. Kwame Naduka, also joins us. Together with the Deputy Governors of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Maxwell Opoku-Afare, and Mrs. Elsie Ado-Awaji. Please make them welcome with a round of applause. Let me go on to acknowledge Excellencies, heads of diplomatic missions, directors and officials of central banks, captains of industry, distinguished speakers, delegates, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. We ask that you accept the warm and generous recognition of this summit. Today, we're met here by broad stakeholders, and our agenda is simple: to unlock the great potential of our fintech and digital economic power. Welcoming us to Ghana formally is the Governor of the Bank of Ghana. Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome Dr. Ernest Kwamina Yedu Addison.
Your Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo, President of the Republic of Ghana, Your Excellency Dixon Michel, the Prime Minister of Grenada, Your Excellency Wamkele Mene, the Secretary General of the AfCFTA, Honorable Minister of Finance, Dr. Mohammed Amin Adam, Honorable Minister of Communications, Esla Owusu-Ekufo, Honorable Ministers of State, Central Bank Governors, Central Bank Deputy Governors, members of the Board of the Bank of Ghana, members of the Board and Chief Executive Officer of the Development Bank Ghana, representatives of Elevandi, Chief Executive Officers of banks and other financial institutions, Chief Executive Officers and founders of telcos, fintechs, and technology chambers, distinguished invited guests and participants, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon and Akwaba to Ghana. It is my greatest pleasure to welcome you all to the inaugural ceremony of the 3i Africa Summit here in Accra. Before starting, let me acknowledge the major stakeholders, namely Development Bank Ghana, in partnership with the Monetary Authority of Singapore through its subsidiary, Elevandi, organizers of the globally acclaimed Singapore Fintech Festival, who have supported the Bank of Ghana in organizing this event. The theme for this summit, Unleashing the Fintech and Digital Economic Potential of Africa, captures the vision of Africa in a digital world and the essence of our collective endeavors for the next 3 days. This forum presents a unique opportunity for private and public sector stakeholders to explore, discuss, and interrogate technological advances, fintech innovations, and financial sector policies to revamp the digital financial services industry in support of Africa's socio-economic transformation. Distinguished guests, the rapid evolution of technology has impacted all facets of life globally. For the financial sector, actualization of novel technologies in the payment ecosystem has revolutionized business transactions, reshaped customer behavior, and redefined the nature of commerce. Presently, we stand on the precipice of a global digital era, especially with artificial intelligence, and there is now a sense of urgency for Africa to accelerate the digitalization agenda through the 3 I's of innovation, investment, and impactful policies to boost economic growth and development. As Africans, we have an advantage in the digitization race based on the bulging and tech-savvy youthful population, the high mobile phone penetration, the consistent expansion of mobile network access, coupled with the rising homegrown fintech solutions. These factors have provided fertile grounds to accelerate the digitalization agenda across the continent. While these are commendable, it is important to note that despite that the lack of requisite investments in African fintechs could slow the pace of innovation and scalability of solutions in achieving the desired impact of a digitized Africa. The general lack of investor visibility is a major challenge for most local fintechs. Without sufficient capital, brilliant ideas, and the prototypes of fintech startup solutions with the potential to address the diverse financial service needs fail to progress to production. The regulatory aspect is another major reason not to ignore the issue of deficient funding in the fintech space. Fintech should have the ability to navigate regulatory requirements and meet compliance standards, which we all agree are non-negotiables, especially in Africa's financial industry. Hence, the need to address the information gap between investors and fintech startups to stimulate the payment ecosystem. Against this background, the goal of the 3i Africa Summit is simple, yet audacious, and that is to share the African fintech narrative, discuss the opportunities and challenges on how to employ digital technology, as well as enhance collaboration among policymakers, investors, and innovators to advance the economic prosperity of the African continent and its partners. We all acknowledge that the last 2 decades has been eventful for Africa's financial service industry. High mobile phone penetration, coupled with a pool of local technology talents, has resulted in various fintech solutions that have expanded access to financial services to the unbanked and the underserved. Mobile money, a game-changer product that is central to most digital payment innovations in African countries, is enabling e-commerce and serving as an affordable solution for merchant acceptance of digital payments. Micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises now have online presence, which has enabled them to expand their market reach outside the localities of operations. These developments, emerging from a thriving fintech sector, are based on the conducive environment created by the widespread regulatory reforms and the modernization of payment system infrastructure, including mobile money interoperability. With regards to intra-African trade, the Pan-African Payment and Settlement System has been developed to support free trade across the continent in line with the objectives of the African Continental Free Trading Area. This will enhance both domestic and cross-border payment systems and empower MSMEs by facilitating access to financing opportunities and broader domestic and global markets. Distinguished guests, we need to have fashioned out concrete initiatives and partnerships by the end of this 3I Summit to achieve tangible policy outcomes that will enable affordable and safe instant cross-border payments, empower fintechs to drive Africa's economic transformation agenda by committing to a sound regulatory environment, advance digital public infrastructure, and finally explore the role of fintech in bridging the financing gap for SMEs, including the creative arts industries. Distinguished guests, the need to foster innovation and investment across diverse sectors is central to the various discussions that will go on in the next 3 days. The Deal Room and Pitch Fest will serve as platforms for entrepreneurs and investors to explore mutually beneficial partnerships, driving innovation forward and fueling economic growth. Also, discussions on the use of fintech for inclusion should remain paramount to ensure that the benefits of technological advancements are accessible to all segments of society. By harnessing the power of financial technology, we can bridge the gap and empower marginalized communities, advancing towards a more inclusive and prosperous future. The inclusion of sessions dedicated to women in tech reaffirms our dedication to diversity and gender equality in the digital landscape and bears witness to the invaluable contributions of women entrepreneurs and innovators. And we must continue to create an environment that nurtures their talents and aspirations. As stewards of responsible finance, discussions on environmental, social, and governance principles are vital. The investment decisions must integrate the ESG principles to ensure that actions taken today can pave the way for a better and sustainable tomorrow. The agri-tech sector also holds immense promise to drive agricultural transformation and food security across the continent. By leveraging technology, we can promote sustainable practices, empower rural communities, and enhance productivity, thereby unlocking the full potential of Africa's agricultural sector. Lastly, the Founders Peak provides a platform for visionary leaders to share insights and experiences to inspire the next generation of entrepreneurs and innovators. In conclusion, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me urge everyone to engage in open and constructive dialogue, exchange experiences, ideas, and best practices, while exploring new opportunities for investments and partnerships. Together, let us seize this moment over the next 3 days to unlock Africa's true potential and usher in a new era of sustainable growth and development. I extend my sincere gratitude to Development Bank Ghana, Elevandi, the sponsors, and participants for the commitment to this worthy cause. Together, let us work so that this 3I Africa Summit serves as a catalyst for positive digitalization change that will resonate across Africa and beyond. Thank you, and may these 3 days leave a lasting impact on the future of our continent. I also urge you all to take some time off to sample the many delights Ghana has to offer outside these conference facilities. Thank you very much.
And what he has done for the past 7 years is to provide sound regulation that is smart, risk appropriate to innovation, allowing for experimentation while managing the risks alongside. Please, once again, the Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Kwamina Yedu-Addison. Thank you for that warm note of welcome. We're joined today by Ghana's Minister for Finance, who will also share his thoughts on the significance of today and give us a national welcome. Make welcome, ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam.
Very much. His Excellency Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, President of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency Dickson Thomas Michel, Prime Minister of Grenada, Honorable Ministers of State, Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Secretary General, AfCFTA Secretariat, Captains of Industry, esteemed delegates of the 3i Africa Summit, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I am delighted to be here this afternoon and honored to address you on a subject of utmost importance, the intersection of finance, technology, and innovation on the African continent. It has become increasingly evident that Africa stands at a pivotal juncture in its trajectory, with the fintech sector poised to exert a profound influence on economic growth and societal advancement. With a significant portion of our continent's population grappling with limited access to formal financial services, fintech emerges as a beacon of hope, offering unprecedented opportunities to bolster financial inclusion and empower more individuals to participate meaningfully in the formal economy. The landscape of fintech innovations is vast and multifaceted, encompassing many solutions ranging from mobile payment platforms and digital lending services to blockchain-enabled remittance networks and AI-driven credit assessment algorithms. These innovations are reshaping the financial terrain whilst also driving efficiency, mitigating cost, and unlocking latent sources of value to enhance productivity across diverse sectors of the economy. Your Excellencies, realizing the full potential of fintech in effecting substantive change necessitates concerted efforts and strategic alliances among various stakeholders, including governments, regulatory bodies, financial institutions, technology firms, and civil society organizations. We must also transcend national boundaries and forge strategic partnerships spanning sectors, industries, and jurisdictions to make meaningful progress. Around that objective, the 3i Africa Summit is an essential conduit for promoting industry best practices, facilitating knowledge exchange, fostering talent mobility, and facilitating resource sharing. Undoubtedly, for Africa to realize our development ambitions, we must all coalesce around an African agenda that delivers capital by leveraging public-private partnerships, venture capital, impact investing, and donor funding. An agenda that delivers investments in digital infrastructure, extended mobile network coverage, and established broadband networks for widespread fintech adoption and financial inclusion in underserved areas. And an agenda that delivers regional fintech hubs and innovation clusters to bridge the digital divide and ensure equal opportunities for everyone to use technology. Ultimately, the efficacy of fintech in Africa should be gauged not merely by financial metrics, but also by its ability to work within a framework that maximizes technology's contribution to inclusive growth and development. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the success of financial innovations rests on a strong financial services sector that operates in stable macroeconomic environment. To this end, the government of President Nana Addo Akufo-Addo is unrelenting in creating an enabling macroeconomic environment that will provide the platform for the success of the financial services sector. For this reason, Ghana's economic rebound has been quite swift, with economic growth ending the year 2023 at 2.9% against a target of 1.5%. Inflation heading towards the year-end target of 15%, and which we are determined to work to reach a single-digit inflation by 2027, and interest rates declining as well. Despite recent pressures on our currency, the cedi's depreciation year-to-date of 12% is far lower than its depreciation of 27% in the same period last year. The government is also implementing measures on the fiscal side, including acceleration of disbursements of almost $1 billion United States dollars by our development partners between now and December this year to support the economy. As we convene at the 3i Africa Summit here in Ghana, it is incumbent on us to acknowledge the remarkable strides that Ghana has made in nurturing a vibrant fintech ecosystem. Ghana's fintech sector boasts of a diverse array of startups, accelerators, and regulatory initiatives, solidifying our position as a frontrunner in fintech innovation across the continent. I therefore wish to commend the Bank of Ghana for being proactive in establishing a regulatory framework conducive to fintech innovation, exemplified by initiatives such as the Payment Systems and Services Act, Act 987, and establishing a Fintech and Innovation Office. These efforts affirm our commitment to fostering innovation while safeguarding consumer interest and preserving financial stability. I would like to take this opportunity also to acknowledge the many incubators across Ghana, including the Ghana Tech Lab and MEST Africa, that provide invaluable support to fintech entrepreneurs through mentorship, financial backing, and networking opportunities. Your Excellencies, this brings me to the importance of SMEs in propelling growth and job creation, and the key challenge they face. Low financing to SMEs continues to be a critical barrier to the acceleration of growth and development on our continent. In Ghana, SMEs constitute 92% of manufacturing, 70% of growth, and provide 80% of jobs. There is therefore every basis why SMEs should be supported, particularly in creating access to capital and providing skills for them to work with. Our focus going forward is therefore to generate growth within our borders by increasing access to capital. This cannot be achieved without a strong fintech infrastructure, an important requirement to address the efficiency of delivering capital to SMEs and reducing the risk of recovery of funds by financial institutions. The Ministry of Finance is finalizing an SME financing strategy which has components such as direct lending to SMEs, providing guarantees to financial institutions, reducing the cost of borrowing, and supporting skills and innovation in the SME ecospace through fintechs. Ladies and gentlemen, in my capacity as Finance Minister of Ghana, I am steadfastly committed to harnessing the potential of our nation's fintech landscape to drive sustained economic growth and progress. By leveraging the collective knowledge, innovation, and dynamism of our fintech sector, we can unlock new opportunities, generate employment, and accelerate progress towards our overarching development goals. To that end, I humbly ask that we unite and seize every opportunity to harness the transformative power of fintech and build a more inclusive, prosperous, and resilient Africa for generations to come. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for the opportunity. May God bless our country.
We're extremely grateful to you, the Honorable Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam, Minister for Finance of the Republic of Ghana, speaking so clearly on bringing together Africa's digital and fintech and digital economic potential by accelerating innovation, investment, and impact. You talk about the agenda that creates equal opportunities for all, which reminds me of this thought that was shared in 2023 at the Singapore Fintech Festival, which says, and I quote, "Everything we do in fintech must have a larger purpose. Everything we do in fintech must certainly have a wider reaching effect. Yes, there is money to be made, costs to be cut, opportunities to be seized, but fintech is more importantly about solving real-world problems, improving lives, promoting a more inclusive society, and securing a sustainable planet for all. I know these thoughts all too well because they were shared by a man who was Managing Director of the Monetary Authority of Singapore and today returns to us as Singapore's first ambassador for climate change action and senior advisor of the National Climate Change Secretariat. He would expand on this purpose by talking to us on Tech for Good, a tech talk on harnessing fintech for social impact. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ravi Menon.
Your Excellency, the President of Ghana, Excellency, the Prime Minister of Grenada, ministers, central bank governors, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, very good afternoon, and all protocols observed. I'm delighted to be here at Accra for the 3i Africa Summit 2024. It is fitting that we are holding this summit in Ghana, the first country in Africa where the entire population is able to access and receive payments through their mobile phones. Africa is at the cusp of a fintech revolution that will transform the lives of hundreds of millions of people. It was Africa which pioneered the use of mobile money with a hugely successful M-Pesa. According to the World Bank, Africa leads the world with the largest number of mobile money accounts. A mobile money account allows anyone with a cell phone to transfer, store, and request money directly from their device without a traditional bank account. This is a powerful demonstration of financial inclusion. The key enablers for leveraging digital technologies are in place. 4 out of 5 persons in Africa uses a mobile phone. Nearly 1 out of 2 has access to the internet. Governments in Africa are prioritizing digitalization and financial inclusion through regulatory sandboxes and innovation offices. According to a BCG report, Africa is likely to be the fastest growing fintech market in the world between 2023 and 2030. And fintech revenues are expected to rise by 13 times, 13 times, compared to the global average of 6 times. So the potential is huge, and the enablers are in place. But it is not a given that Africa's fintech revolution is predestined. Africa still has considerable challenges to overcome on its fintech journey, and we need to be realistic about them so that we can address them. First, more than 40% of people in sub-Saharan Africa do not possess a legal proof of identity or a digital ID. Women and ethnic minorities bear the brunt of this digital exclusion. Second, cross-border payment transactions within Africa are still quite expensive, as they are routed through overseas banks and involve currency swapping. Third, much of the population still remains unbanked or underbanked. Only 35% of the population in sub-Saharan Africa has access to banking services. But Africa is not sitting still. Efforts are underway to tackle each of these problems. 1, digital identities as a key enabler for online transactions. 2, payments connectivity for seamless cross-border payments. Tokenization and artificial intelligence to enhance financial inclusion. Let me elaborate on each of these 3. Digital IDs, now they are a crucial public good to enable financial inclusion. Efforts are underway at the country, regional, and Pan-African levels. So several countries in Africa are implementing digital IDs. Ghana has begun to issue digital IDs to all newborn children. Nigeria has launched the National Digital Ecosystem to integrate the national identification number with digital services. Benin is offering 300 government services based on authentication of citizen identities through digital IDs. At the regional level, the Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa, COMESA, the East African Community, EAC, and the Southern African Development Community, SADC, have been working on regional digital IDs. Now, building on these initiatives, the African Union has plans for an interoperable Pan-African digital ID. And this will be a stepping stone to building the single digital market in Africa, which is a bold vision of a unified digital ecosystem that provides individuals and businesses across the continent with seamless access to digital services. Now, a Pan-African digital ID is a powerful enabler for a digital economy. What will it do? It will allow individuals to verify their legal identity both online and offline, and gain access to public and private services more easily. Second, it will protect digital privacy, as people and businesses will be able to verify their credentials without disclosing their personal data. And it will accelerate the integration of Africa with the global digital economy and the fintech ecosystem. So that's digital ID. Next, payments connectivity. This is the other thing that needs to be achieved. The Pan-African Payment and Settlement System, PAPS, PAPSS, is an interesting innovation. It is introduced by the African Export-Import Bank and Africa's Continental Free Trade Area, AfCFTA, in January 2022. One of its key features is to facilitate instant cross-border payments that are directly convertible in local currencies. In other words, it eliminates the need for intermediary currency conversions to the dollar, the euro, or pound sterling. PAPS has successfully completed a pilot phase in the West African Monetary Zone countries and is poised to financially connect the continent. Another notable initiative on electronic payments is HonorFric. This is a Pan-African payment system that seamlessly connects 500 million people, 500 million mobile wallets across 40 countries in Africa. Users are able to make payments, receive money, and make financial transactions seamlessly through their mobile phones. HonorFric's integrated chain of mobile network operators, money transfer operators, and banks has simplified payments and transactions across the continent. Now, these are interesting innovations in Pan-African payments connectivity. Now, the key task ahead, I think, is to integrate these innovations with existing national payment rails for seamless multilateral payments connectivity across Africa. And here the role of central banks is critical. They must ensure effective governance and interoperability while leveraging of existing innovations like mobile money and PAPS. Third, tokenized assets and digital money to drive financial inclusion. Distributed ledgers and tokenization are being used to create a more efficient global financial architecture for seamless financial transactions across the world. Now, digital assets ride on the technological innovation of tokenization, namely the use of software programs to represent the ownership rights over any item of value as a digital token. It allows high-value financial and real economy assets to be fractionalized and exchanged over interoperable platforms like the internet on a peer-to-peer basis without intermediaries. It also enables the simultaneous exchange of two assets in real time. Tokenization has relevance to Africa. It offers a means to convert illiquid physical assets like land, minerals, and agricultural produce into digital tokens to enable fractional ownership of these resources. It can also help expand financing small and medium enterprises with funds raised from investors who can get tokenized assets. Now, these assets can then in turn be traded on emerging digital asset exchanges. Now, there are interesting and inspiring examples of tokenization in Africa, which have enhanced financial inclusion. Let me just cite a couple of them that I came across. In Kenya, African Digital Assets, a real estate developer, is tokenizing a shopping mall in Nairobi, giving smaller investors access to this asset through fractional ownership. In South Africa, Standard Bank Group, an infrastructure development firm, intends to finance renewable energy project through tokenization. Digital money enables the payment, clearing, and settlement of these digital or tokenized assets. And they can do this simultaneously on the same platform. The three viable forms of digital money in terms of stability of value and security of redemption are central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, 2, tokenized bank liabilities, or 3, well-regulated stablecoins. CBDC-based transactions can be used on simple feature phones, thereby helping to accelerate financial inclusion for the unbanked and underbanked. And governments can use CBDCs to distribute welfare payments directly to beneficiaries without en route leakage. Not surprisingly, in Africa, most of the traction in digital money has been in the CBDC space. Nigeria was the second country in the world to roll out a CBDC called e-Naira in October 2021. The South African Central Bank, Reserve Bank, has piloted a wholesale CBDC for interbank transfers between financial institutions. South Africa is also part of a cross-border CBDC pilot project, including the central banks of Australia, Malaysia, and Singapore. And the Bank of Ghana is currently testing a general purpose or retail CBDC. Finally, artificial intelligence. AI is fast emerging as a game changer and disruptor in global fintech. Major jurisdictions across the world are establishing principles and guidelines for the responsible and safe use of AI. In Africa, AI can potentially help fintech players, and many of them are harnessing AI. Let me give a few examples. Zande Africa, this is a fintech company in South Africa, is using AI algorithms to analyze the transaction history and business performance of small and medium enterprises so that they can assess the creditworthiness for making microloans. M-Kopa, which operates across Kenya, Nigeria, and Uganda, is using AI to process over 500 payments per minute. Nokwari in Ghana uses speech recognition AI to help persons who cannot see or read to use banking apps and financial services through spoken commands. And Mipangol in Tanzania helps users manage their personal finances through AI-enabled financial advice. I could go on, there are many examples. Now, many of the key components for a fintech ecosystem are therefore falling into place in Africa. I mentioned payments connectivity, tokenization, artificial intelligence, digital identities. Now, how can Africa build on these to systematically accelerate the fintech transformation and integrate with the global fintech ecosystem? The time is perhaps right for Africa to create a next generation foundational digital public infrastructure architecture, which is consent-based and pan-African in scope. Now, this architecture should rest on 3 pillars, which are key for the ecosystem. 1, a trusted identity infrastructure. 2, interoperable payment system. And 3, verified individual and business data exchanges. Now, this pan-African digital public infrastructure could leverage a range of next-generation components. I think there are 3 enablers for a successful rollout of such a public infrastructure. 1, a unifying policy framework across the continent, within which countries can develop their customized policies while maintaining interoperability. And this is the key balance to strike, to maintain domestic flexibility and customization while ensuring you're interoperable. 2, a transition plan to upgrade the existing DPI implementation programs, because there are already several underway. So you want to build on those to incorporate this new direction of a Pan-African infrastructure. And 3, adequate capital from the public and private sources to fund the implementation of this over the next 5 years. This would be an ambitious undertaking. It will require high-level guidance and a robust governance structure. A good way to start would be to bring together a group of key pilot sponsors under the chairmanship of perhaps participating heads of state, along with C-suite representation from public and private sector stakeholders. You can only do this through public-private partnerships. Let me conclude. More than anywhere else in the world, fintech can demonstrate its true purpose and potential here in Africa by focusing on financial inclusion. There is great scope for collaboration between traditional financial institutions and private fintech companies to bridge financial and digital divides. And platforms like the 3i Africa Summit create the opportunity to realize Africa's fintech potential. I wish you a fruitful discussions that lead to meaningful improvements in the lives of the people of this continent. Thank you very much.
It's always an edifying experience listening to Mr. Ravi Menon, Singapore's first Ambassador for Climate Change Action and Senior Advisor, the National Climate Change Secretariat, talking to us about Tech for Good, harnessing fintech for social impact. It is abundantly clear, ladies and gentlemen, that as it stands, Africa's digital and fintech sectors present unmatched opportunities for innovation, inclusion, and sustainable economic growth by adopting advanced technologies and innovative financial solutions to bridge the digital divide, improve access to financial services, and foster an environment where entrepreneurs and businesses thrive. The question we ask right now is, what is that roadmap to driving digitalization and intra-Africa trade? The answers lie with the newly re-elected Secretary General of the AfCFTA. Make welcome His Excellency Wamkele Mene.
Your Excellency, President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the President of the Fourth Republic of Ghana, Prime Minister of Grenada, Prime Minister Mitchell, Right Honorable Prime Minister, Minister of Finance of Ghana, the Governor of the Central Bank of Ghana, governors that are here, ministers of finance that are here, regulators, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is a pleasure to be here with you today. What many may not be aware of in the room is that His Excellency, the President of Ghana, is the African Union champion on financial institutions and has been entrusted by the Assembly of Heads of States and Government of the African Union to lead reform of the financial architecture, the global financial architecture, and we're most grateful for His Excellency's leadership in that regard. We were established here in 2020. August 2020 is when the African Continental Free Trade Area was established here with a very simple mandate. How do we advance and improve on intra-Africa trade? In May 1963, Jomo Kenyatta, Augustino Neto, Patrice Lumumba, and many others, in the founding of the Organization of African Unity, the treaty obligations that they entrusted upon themselves, the objective, treaty objective, amongst others, of course, was political, to defeat the colonialists. And as I argued this morning, with the defeat of apartheid in South Africa, that particular objective was achieved. I do believe that the integration of Africa is what continued to evade us, because there was not a single platform. There was not a single platform for Africa to trade more with herself than with the rest of the world. So the colonial economic model, the patterns that continue to prevail of global trade, is precisely what Ghana set out to dismantle today. So when we were established here, it was consistent with the vision of our founding mothers and fathers when we came here in 2020 to dismantle the colonial economic model. There are tools that our heads of states have set out that we must deploy these tools to achieve that particular objective. The African Continental Free Trade Area is chief amongst those tools. In February this year, our heads of states adopted the Protocol on Digital Trade, the first of its kind in the world. The very first of its kind in the world. I was there in Hong Kong in 2004, the Hong Kong WTO Ministerial Conference. We attempted. We couldn't get consensus to have a digital protocol. Today we have a digital trade protocol to advance Africa's technological digital economy to include the millions and millions and millions of young Africans who are at the cutting edge of digital innovation. The Protocol on Digital Trade encompasses a number of provisions that I believe have the potential to significantly catapult our continent into global competitiveness in the digital economy. The heads of states have said, we want data to move across the continent freely. We want to prohibit the localization of computing services because we believe that we can and we should be a single digital market as the African continent. They also said that at the heart of this protocol on digital trade must be inclusion. It must be inclusion of young Africans. It must be inclusion of small, medium enterprises, particularly those that are run by women. They also say in the protocol that when you trade, and you trade on a digital platform in Africa, we must not impose duties amongst ourselves. That there must be free movement of digital trade and services. Finally, they also say, our heads of states, that payments, digitally enabled payments, is critical, which is why with my senior brother, Professor Orama, we have implemented and we launched it here in Accra, the Pan-African Payment and Settlement System. And it was not a mistake to launch it here in Accra. The reason we said we want to launch the Pan-African Payment and Settlement System in Ghana, Accra, is because we are fully conscious of May 1963, when our founding mothers and fathers said, not only are we occupied with pushing back the colonialists, but also we want to establish a Pan-African Payment Union. 1963. And today, we have a digital payments platform that enables me to trade with my counterparty in Kenya. I pay in Ghanaian cedi. My counterparty receives the Kenyan shilling without relying on a third currency. The point I seek to establish today is this, that we have, as Africans, within our reach, digital technology, tools that will enable us to advance on that particular objective of May 1963. So the conference today, in my opinion, is not actually just about technology, innovation, investment. In my view, it is about how do we advance the economic sovereignty of our continent. 43 currencies in Africa, 42 currencies on the continent, as we all know. Reliance on platforms that take us elsewhere to trade. 2019 alone, $20.5 billion worth of transactions on SWIFT. $20.5 billion that we as Africans, can you imagine if I want to go from Ghana to Kenya, I must start in London or New York. It's the same with payments. If you want to pay your counterparty in Kenya, you use a correspondent bank in New York or London. So this question of the payment sovereignty of our continent, in my opinion, my very humble opinion, is particularly instructive to us in relation to that particular vision of Kwame Nkrumah, Augustino Neto, Samora Machel, and many others who were there on that day in Addis Ababa. So what is incumbent upon us is, how do we take this particular struggle forward? How do we make sure that this struggle, as we stand on their shoulders, how do we take this struggle forward? There are some in various parts of the continent, I will relate, South Africa will stand up and say and shout slogans that we're economic freedom fighters and all of that. A slogan is not going to deliver that vision. Digital innovation, enabling the competitiveness of our continent, inclusion in terms of financial bankability of small, medium enterprises, of young people. In my opinion, this is the revolution that I believe, leveraging on digital technology, that we should be relying on. So those, again, I want to relate to South Africa, those who say, oh, we are revolutionaries, we're fighting the capitalist system. Yes, but innovation, digital innovation, technology, leveraging on it to advance the objectives of May 1963. In my view, the connection could not be clearer. Couldn't be clearer. That our founding mothers and fathers said, we want a Pan-African payment union. And therefore, in the wisdom of our heads of states, we have that particular responsibility today to deploy digital technologies to advance on that vision. And His Excellency President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo is the champion for financial institutions for the entire African Union. I was with Orama yesterday, and we were discussing this particular issue of the sovereignty of the African continent in terms of payment. Because tomorrow I may upset someone in Washington, and I won't be able to make payments. I'll be cut out of global payments, architecture, and infrastructure. Because I've upset someone in Washington. Fortunately, my wife is American, so she will mediate on my behalf. The point is, the emerging global geopolitical context, geoeconomic context should compel us as Africans to say, how do we emerge from this particular context, this situation that we are in? I want again to emphasize what His Excellency President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo often says. Akufo-Addo often says that Africa beyond aid. Africa beyond aid. And again, I quote him, he said, we are not for a white man who is Russian or a white man who is French. We are for Africa. So this, in my opinion, this question of the existential economic sovereignty of our continent is precisely why the African Continental Free Trade Area was established, so that we leverage on this market of 1.4 billion people, which by 2050 is projected to be the 8th or the 7th largest economy in the world, 16.3 trillion United States dollars at that time, 2050, 27 years from now. But if we don't deploy these digital technologies that all of us are going to be discussing today and tomorrow, I don't know that we will reach that objective. So I want to thank all of you very much for the opportunity to share with you what our heads of states have instructed me to do, which is to implement the protocol on digital trade, to create opportunities for millions and millions and millions of young Africans, to place small, medium enterprises at the center of Africa's economy, and to catapult our continent to global competitiveness, which is the preeminent objective of the Assembly of Heads of States and Government that we have. So I sought today to make a linkage between May 1963, the establishment of the Organization of African Unity, and link it with where we are today, and that is digital innovation, digital inclusion, and investment. Perhaps I have not succeeded, but I invite all of us to make that particular political linkage with digitization and digital economy in Africa. I want to thank you very much for your attention. Thank you.
And he shows us clearly that success is a journey. For a mandate well executed for the past 4 years and counting, please help me celebrate a true son of Africa, His Excellency Wamkele Mene, for leading with such admirable zeal and distinction. Thank you ever so much. In a nutshell, all he's trying to say is that others have labored and we share their glory, ours to do exploits and add to their gain. Only Santa Clausians will understand this. Any Adisadel boys in the house? And so when the Osagefo said that the independence of Ghana is meaningless until it's linked up with the total liberation of the continent, he was not talking about the traditional continent. He was talking about the new Africa, the global Africa, which stretches from Mauritius all the way to Barbados. Today, we're joined by a global African, our own brother, who returns to share in the joy of this great pursuit. Would you please make welcome the Prime Minister of Grenada, His Excellency Dickon Mitchell.
He's a hard act to follow. Your Excellency, President Akufo-Addo, Honorable Ministers of State, Mr. Wamkele Mene, Secretary General, Dr. Ernest Addison, Governor of the Central Bank of Ghana, Mr. Duque, Chief Executive Officer of the Development Bank, Ghana, Governors of Central Bank who are here, members of the Diplomatic Corps, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I'm from a tiny island in the Caribbean called Grenada, not Grenada. You may end up in Nicaragua or you may end up in Spain if you said Grenada. And so why am I here? I'm here because the Caribbean is Africa's diaspora. And this conversation on fintech is as vitally important to the diaspora of Africa as it is to Africa. Mr. President, it was an absolute honor to host you in Grenada on the 7th of February, 2024, when you celebrated with us Grenada's 50th anniversary of independence from British colonial rule. I therefore deeply appreciate the opportunity given to me today to reciprocate this spirit of collaboration. This 3I 2024 summit stands as a testament to the strong bonds between our nations and the shared commitment to fostering impact, innovation, investment, and I will add a fourth I, inclusivity. Accra is the ideal venue for these critical discussions as Ghana continues to demonstrate an exemplary commitment to driving technological progress and meaningful investment and engagement. We are here today to forge partnerships, to elevate each other, and to lay the groundwork for a more prosperous, inclusive, and technologically empowered future for the next generation. The tiny island of Grenada stands with Ghana in recognizing the vital importance of this summit's themes: innovation, investment, and impact. These principles are fundamental pillars upon which we must build our future. In a rapidly evolving fintech landscape, this summit is a crucial opportunity to harness our shared knowledge and purpose to drive meaningful change. We recognize that the convergence of innovation, investment, and impact presents a unique opportunity to reshape our economies and our societies. And the Secretary General could not have been clearer in his exposition of that reality. By fostering partnerships and learning from each other, we can collectively unlock the potential of fintech to address issues like access to credit, reducing the unbanked population, and streamlining cross-border transactions. The challenge of our unbanked population in Africa and the diaspora stems not only from the colonial patterns of banking and financing, but even from modern-day dictated policies from countries in the West. In the Caribbean, for example, many of our citizens are unbanked because it is actually impossible to open a bank account. Whether it's anti-money laundering policies that are imposed on you, anti-terrorist financing policies that are imposed on you, and a host of other regulations that are dictated to you. If you're a fisherman, for example, and you live at home with your parents, if you can't demonstrate that you have a utility bill in your name, you are not allowed to open a bank account. If you can't show a proof of address by showing that you actually own the house that you live in, you're unable to open a bank account. Fintech and mobile money gives the millions of our citizens, both in Africa and in the diaspora, a unique opportunity to become banked and to become part of the economic and financial landscape that hitherto has either prevented or escaped them from entering. So the conversation about fintech is not a conversation merely about technology. It is a conversation about building solutions that uplift people, businesses, and communities while protecting and empowering the most vulnerable. So this conference should be a platform to celebrate our successes, but also to candidly identify areas where we can improve, innovate, and forge stronger alliances. So in this landscape, we must recognize that our goals can only be achieved through collaboration across borders. Hence the reason for my presence here today. By forging partnerships across borders, here on the continent and beyond, we can tackle challenges like regulatory alignment, digital literacy, and cybersecurity. These are not isolated issues, but are global ones that require unified solutions. And so I commend the President of Ghana and his government for recently signing an agreement with the government of India that allows for payment opportunities between the citizens of Ghana and India. Governors of central banks, you have a critical role in shaping the future of fintech. As gatekeepers of the regulatory landscape, I challenge you to ensure that the regulatory framework are creative, that they promote responsible innovation, and ensure financial inclusivity and growth. work with the entrepreneurs to strike a balance that protects against risks without stifling the entrepreneurial mechanisms that will empower citizens, simplify cross-border transactions, and facilitate transparent and efficient financial markets. While regulators play a crucial role in creating an enabling environment, beyond doubt, it is the private sector's contribution that will continue to drive the fintech revolution. So to the esteemed investors who are here with us today, your commitment and your vision are key to unlocking the full potential for fintech. Your support fuels the innovation that will transform industries, that will empower entrepreneurs, and that will open new markets. I therefore urge you to see the opportunities that lie in Africa, Africa's diaspora, and other emerging regions of the world, not just as investment destinations, but as opportunities for partnership in sustainable growth. By supporting fintech startups and initiatives that prioritize inclusion, digital literacy, cross-border collaboration, you can help create and shape an ecosystem where innovation thrives and that brings lasting impact to our citizens. Your strategic investments can empower small businesses, enhance access to finance, and accelerate growth towards the Sustainable Development Goals. I therefore encourage you to be bold in identifying and nurturing talent, ideas, technologies that will shape the future of finance. Regulators, entrepreneurs, governments, our citizens, together we can create a world where innovation is not only profitable, but purposeful, delivering returns that resonate far beyond mere financial gains. This summit, therefore, embodies our shared commitment to creating solutions that not only drive technological innovation, but that also supports the wider SDG agenda. It is through collaboration that we can ensure that fintech's impact extends to the very heart of sustainable development, providing equal opportunities and promoting shared prosperity. But our journey does not end when we leave this summit. It marks the beginning of a renewed commitment to empowering individuals and uplifting communities. Together, Africa and its diaspora can foster an environment where startups flourish, investors see opportunity, and every individual, no matter their background, geography, or ethnicity, has the financial tools that can change their respective lives. So Accra, let us boldly step forward, embracing this spirit of partnership, innovation. We have the power to transform not just our economies, but the world. Let us lead with vision, act with courage, and remain united in our pursuit of a fintech future that truly serves all of humanity. I am grateful for the opportunity to be with you, and I wish you a successful summit. Thank you very much.
One more time, Ghana, Africa, welcome your very own. We're grateful to you, Your Excellency Dickon Mitchell, Prime Minister of Grenada, and yours has been a bunch of punchlines in that very inspiring address. My particular take-home is the fact that we should strive to make innovation both profitable and purposeful. This afternoon, I just want to ask, innovation, investment, impact. If there was a human being, or if there were a human being who embodies all of this, who would it be? Well, I give to you an individual, a Ghanaian and international superstar whose music certainly speaks to positivity and a new Africa. She comes with a belief in Africa's people, promise, and prosperity. Africa, I give to you, Wiala.
next one is called Africa. Thank you very much. The land is good, the land is fine. Gold we have, diamonds we mine. Yet we fight, we cover it all in blood. Tell me why we wallow in the mud. Africa, 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 hey, Mama Africa, we cry for peace. Africa. The land is good, the land is fine. Gold we have, diamonds we mine. Yet we fight, we cover it all in blood. Tell me why we wallow in the mud. Africa, 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 hey, Mama Africa, we cry for peace. Africa, 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 yeah, Africa, yeah, yeah. Mama Africa, we cry for peace. Africa. Tell me why we fight. 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 Thank you very much. My name is Rihanna, the Lioness of Africa.
And that was specially dedicated to you, Your Excellency Deacon Mitchell, together with the Minister for Foreign Affairs of Grenada, the Honorable Joseph Andal, your entire delegation, and to you, all friends of Africa. We say Akwaba, and you say Ya. Akwaba. It's important that I acknowledge the tremendous support of His Excellency Deacon Mitchell in the fight to promote financial inclusion in the Caribbean. Notable among your efforts are the implementation of Dcash by ECCB Bank, which you are pioneering so well. We say thank you very much for all the efforts. Please, a round of applause. And so now is the moment we've all been waiting for, when we get to hear from a leader of tremendous progress, a man who just doesn't talk but walks the talk. Under his administration, Ghana has chalked many firsts, and today it is my pleasure to give to you an enabler of transformative economies. Ladies and gentlemen, the President of our Republic, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo.
Nations, Governor of the Bank of Ghana, the first and second deputy governors, the Secretary General of the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement Secretariat, Chairman, Chief Executive of the Development Bank Ghana, Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, the President, ECOWAS Bank for Investment and Development, the President, the Arab Bank for Development, Singapore's Ambassador for Climate Change Action and Senior Advisors, National Climate Change Secretariat, Country Director of the World Bank, the Chief Executive Officer of the African Guarantee Bank Fund, members of the Diplomatic Corps, fellow Ghanaians, ladies and gentlemen. It is my great pleasure to welcome you all to Ghana and to the 3I Africa Summit. As we say in Ghana, and you've heard several times already, Akwaba is our word of welcome, especially to a good friend and brother of Ghana, the Prime Minister of the Government of Grenada, His Excellency Dickon Mitchell, and the members of his delegation. You're very welcome to Accra. You are amongst the people who pride themselves on their sense of hospitality, and I hope that by the end of your visit, you will agree with this claim. We're met here today under the banner of Unleashing Africa's Fintech and Economic Potential, a theme that resonates deeply with the aspirations and dreams of our continent. This gathering is not merely a meeting of brilliant minds. It is a resounding clarion call to action, summons to each and every one of us to rise to the challenge and seize the momentous opportunities that lie ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, the African Continental Free Trade Area has laid the groundwork for a monumental shift in our economic landscape, a transformation that will reverberate across the length and breadth of our great continent. The numbers speak for themselves. By 2035, the AfCFTA aims to lift some 30 million Africans out of the clutches of extreme poverty, whilst boosting simultaneously the incomes of some 68 million people. The agreement is projected to increase intra-African trade by some 52%, unleashing a wave of economic activity that will generate some 450 billion United States dollars to our collective GDP. These are not mere statistics. They're a testament to the boundless potential that lies within our grasp, a promise of a brighter future for all Africans. But to realize fully these benefits, we must harness the transformative power of fintech and digital innovation. We must embrace the technologies that are reshaping the global economy and make them work for us, tailoring them to the unique needs and challenges of our diverse and dynamic continent. Governments across Africa should invest heavily in the digital infrastructure that will form the backbone of our shared prosperity. We must create policies that foster innovation, encourage entrepreneurship, and attract investment from both within and beyond our borders. We must promote interoperability to reduce transaction costs and delays, tearing down the silos that have hindered our progress for too long. And we must leverage the power of digital identity programs, such as the Ghana Card, to improve access to financial services, reduce fraud, and create a more inclusive and equitable economic system. Through public-private partnerships and cross-border collaboration, we can create a seamless and efficient fintech ecosystem that aligns perfectly with AfCFTA's objective of fully integrated digital African economy. By working together, we can unlock the vast potential of our continent and create a rising tide that lifts all boats from the smallest village to the largest metropolis. Ghana has emerged as a good example of what is possible when we embrace digital transformation. Our e-government initiatives, such as the Ghana Card, the Ghana.gov portal, and mobile money interoperability, have reshaped the landscape of public service delivery and expanded financial inclusion to heights that were once thought unimaginable. Today, some 17 million of our fellow citizens now possess a digital ID, linking them seamlessly to the critical services they need to thrive in the modern world. The Ghana.gov portal has facilitated transactions worth some 1.6 billion cedis since its inception in 2019, improving revenue collection, reducing corruption, and in creating a more transparent and accountable system of governance. And when it comes to mobile money, Ghana stands tall among the nations of the world. With transactions exceeding 900 billion cedis annually, we boast one of the highest mobile money penetration rates in the world, which is further proof of the ingenuity and adaptability of our people. But our progress does not stop there. Ghana has made remarkable strides in the realms of fintech and financial inclusion, blazing a trail for others to follow. Mobile money adoption has increased considerably, with some 44 million accounts registered by the end of 2023 and transactions surpassing 1 trillion cedis. The percentage of adults with access to financial services has risen from 58% in 2017 to some 80% in 2023, a remarkable achievement that has transformed countless lives and opened up new horizons of opportunity. Our fintech regulatory environment has become a hotbed of innovation and competition, attracting the best and brightest minds from across the continent and beyond. And our digital lending platforms have disbursed billions of cedis in loans to micro, small, and medium enterprises, fueling job creation, economic growth, and the rise of a vibrant and dynamic entrepreneurial ecosystem. Ladies and gentlemen, as we look to the future, we should recognize that the success of our vision rests on the shoulders of our youth, the heartbeat of our continent, and the engine of our shared prosperity. So let us equip them with the portable, versatile skills they need to thrive in the digital age, providing them with the tools and knowledge to navigate the rapidly evolving landscape of work and opportunity. Ghana has accepted this challenge, investing heavily in technology-driven education, vocational training, and entrepreneurial development. We're fostering cross-border skills recognition and promoting digital literacy, ensuring that our young people have the confidence and capability to navigate the fintech landscape with ease and aplomb. But we cannot rest on our laurels. To unleash truly Africa's potential, it is essential that we break down the policy barriers that have held us back for too long. Scaling up our digital infrastructure to reach every corner of our continent, thereby leaving no community behind in the march towards progress. Expanding financial inclusion to include all Africans, regardless of their income or social status, and empowering our youth with the skills and opportunities they need to become the leaders and the innovators of tomorrow are of the utmost importance. In doing so, we must engender collaborative partnerships that transform borders and sectors, bringing together the best minds and the most innovative solutions to tackle the challenges we face. I urge all of us gathered here, indeed governments of Africa, to align our policies and regulatory frameworks to create an environment that nurtures innovation whilst protecting the rights and interests of consumers. Prioritizing digital investment in digital infrastructure, channeling resources into the communities that have been left behind by the march of progress, and bridging the digital divide that threatens to leave too many Africans on the sidelines of the global economy are exceptionally important and crucial. And we must deepen our partnerships across governments, financial institutions, tech firms, and development agencies, working together in a spirit of shared purpose and unwavering commitment to develop the innovative solutions and strategic initiatives that will propel us towards a more prosperous and equitable future. And to this end, in furtherance of our objective of providing financial access to SMEs, the Minister for Finance and President of the ECOWAS Bank for Investment and Development, EBID, signed last Friday in Lomé, in Togo, a memorandum of understanding for $200 million facility to be dispersed through the Ghana Commercial Bank and the Ghana Exim Bank to SMEs. The role of fintechs in ensuring that these resources reach SMEs and to monitor their growth cannot be overestimated. The 3-year Africa Summit stands as a powerful testament to our collective commitment to shaping a future where digital finance and technology drive inclusive economic growth and sustainable development. It is a rallying cry for action and a call to arms for all those who believe in the boundless potential of our great continent. So let us seize this moment here and now to forge a united path forward. Let us build a continent where borders are mere lines on a map, where digital innovation knows no bounds, and where the aspirations of every African can be realized in full. Let us create a future where the light of progress shines brightly, illuminating the way forward towards a brighter tomorrow for all our people. Together we can create a legacy that will inspire and uplift. Let us seize this moment and make it our own, forging ahead with courage, with conviction, and with a strong commitment to the vision of a brighter future for all Africans. May God bless Mother Africa and her peoples and make them great and strong. I thank you for your attention.
The President of our Republic. Mr. President, if it pleases you, I would like us to have 4 memorable photographs to mark this day. And so humbly, I shall invite the Prime Minister of Grenada together with the Secretary General of the AfCFTA to please come up for the first photo. Please be seated. I shall ask all ministers herein present from Ghana and beyond to please come and join. Bring it down, bring it down. All ministers. Right after the ministers, I shall invite the Governor of the Bank of Ghana, the CEO of DBG, the former MD of the MAS, and all central bank governors to come up. Thank you, honorable ministers. You may please take your seats. Governors. Joining the governors, I invite the Vice President of the AfDB, Mr. Solomon Queno, together with the President of the ECOWAS Bank for Investment Development, Dr. George Donko, and finally, an exclusive with the organizers, Bank of Ghana, the Monetary Authority of Singapore, and the Development Bank Ghana. An exclusive with the organizers. To this end, we all shout innovation, investment, and impact. Put your hands together for the President of our Republic for opening this all-important summit, this groundbreaking summit. And so shortly we bring this, please remain seated wherever you are. The President will join us and take the salute, and thereafter we shall all remain seated as we progress into the next stage. And so we shall all rise for the national anthem. Mr. DJ, why the music? Some of the problems with Fintech, please pardon us. In lieu of the singer, we shall sing it ourselves. Together we sing. God bless our homeland, Ghana, and make our nation great and strong. bold to defend forever the cause of freedom and of right. Fill our hearts with true humility. Make us fearlessly and help us to resist oppressors with all our will and might forevermore. And help us to resist oppressors with all our will and might forevermore. To this end, we say, may God bless you, the President of our Republic. May God bless the 3I Summit, and may God bless us all and our homeland, Africa. We shall all remain seated after the President and his entourage take leave into the VIP area as we get ready to undertake the next stage. The next session would witness a few remarks from distinguished governors and ministers, after which we shall zoom into 2 panel discussions, and that will be a wrap of day 1. There's coffee and tea in the lobby, and so we shall make our way out and be back in 10 minutes to receive the first set of messages and zoom straight into the first panel. Thank you very much.